Hi, I'm Graham. Welcome back to Man vs Film. Now, we're moving on with our Hammer Volume 3 set, and we're moving on to the last disc in this collection, which is Yesterday's Enemy. Again, I didn't know anything about all of the movies in this set, so it was all kind of blind buys. I just threw them on one at a time to see what I was going to get. Yesterday's Enemy is a story about a kind of forgotten platoon in Burma just trying to get back to their front line when they stumble across a Japanese held village. Overtaking the village, they try to get a lay of the land, trying to figure out what's going to happen, try to figure out a way to get back to safety when they know that a sort of Japanese platoon of far outnumbers them is headed towards their direction. Now, this was a movie that I put on, like I said, knowing nothing about. Recently just watched the Camp on Blood Island. That was all about the Japanese really forcibly beating down and destroying the sort of Allied soldiers. This one is a far more balanced take on the depiction of war. Now, the jungle setting is terrific. It looks fantastic. One of the first things that really grabbed me about this movie was the lack of music. There is no music on here. There is no cues to let you know how you should be thinking or feeling at a certain moment. Kind of like when movies do this and they have a sort of resonant subject behind it to allow it to really seep into you. And this one has it in spades. Now, this feels like an almost follow-up to the Camp on Blood Island, where that was a more sort of caricatured nature of the Japanese. This is a far more balanced take on it. You have both soldiers here, the sort of leaders of both the Japanese faction and the Allied faction have these moments of conversation near the end where they are quite clearly and articulately putting their point across, and both of them are extremely valid in what they are saying. It's nice to get both points of an argument here and spoken really tremendously well. But on top of that, on top of having this really nice duality between Japan and the Allied forces, you have this unbelievable streak of tension and suspense as you know these guys are in a kind of lose-lose situation. They are under armed, they run out of weapons, they run out of ammo, the Japanese far outnumber them, things are looking bleak, they have lots of injured soldiers, they have sort of dissidents in their own party, in their platoon, that are kind of losing the will to go on or to fight. It's got all these things layered on into this movie, and it really does create a fantastic masterpiece of a film, one that really kind of caught me off guard. The way it kind of unassumingly starts to the way it continues, this is all about the conversations. This is all about the realistic situation that these guys are put into, and it is effective. It is oh so effective. It gets under your skin and makes you feel dread, absolute dread for these characters. And the characters, the actors, are all outstanding, giving tremendous performances. This was based on a stage play, and it kind of shows in the fact that they're all fleshed out, they're all made three-dimensional, they all feel flawed individuals. You know, the kind of individuals that make good decisions, that make bad decisions, and there is some horrible decisions within this movie. There's one at the start where the sort of Allies capture this person who they think is a Japanese spy, but they don't know, and trying to get him to talk doesn't work, so they just shoot at random two villagers. Now, I'm sure this was going to be a ploy or a plot or a fake out or something, but no, it has gotten to the situation where that is where the platoon leader is. He is going to kill two innocents to try and get the truth out of one guilty man. It really does show the effect of war on these people in this tense, unforgiving landscape that they are. I have a great deal of admiration for this movie. Like I said, something I didn't know anything about turned out to be fantastic and highly recommended. So, as with the other videos in this series that I've done, this Hammer set contains 4 movies. They are The Camp on Blood Island, The Stranglers of Bombay, Yesterday's Enemy, and The Terror of the Tongs. Now, unlike the other two sets that we've had in this, there was no outstanding, far and away winner, best movie of this box set. But of course, there was not any movies that I really didn't like. They were all kind of middle of the road, which, you know, in the other sets I've had ones that I loved and ones that I wasn't too keen on. This one, they're just all across the board pretty decent, which was a surprise. Which is even more of a surprise to me is the fact that my favourite in this series was Yesterday's Enemy. The movie I left to last because I was more keen to watch the other ones turned out to be my favourite of this box set, the one that I said would be the best in this. I think looking at the set, number 2 of my favourites would be a close now it's a bit of a hard one actually because they're all pretty good. I am going to say The Terror of the Tongs. I just like the production value in that, the colour, the sets, the characters, this myth of this underground kind of cult, which was really interesting as well. I'd say number 3 on my list would be The Camp on Blood Island, which I really enjoyed as well, and it was all about a kind of prison camp movie with these caricatured bad guys that seemed to try to demoralise and just bring this group of guys down. And finally I'd put The Stranglers of Bombay, which again I enjoyed. I thought it was pretty good, and I'm pretty sure on almost any day you asked me this, the list would change, but I think always Yesterday's Enemy would be the top one on this box set. I am looking forward to Indicator's next Hammer set, something that's really interesting, and I think next I'm going to move on to the Samuel Fuller set. It's been one I've been meaning to get to, 7 movies in that, and I can't wait to check those out. So I'd love to know if you've seen these movies in the Hammer set, what you thought of them, how you would rank them, if you've bought them, if you've got any of the other Indicator sets, I'd love to know that as well. And I will see you next time on Man vs Film.